Why wouldn't I be happy? Got to hang out with a bunch of neat people last night on a boat cruise. I'll tell you more about that in a little bit. I keep seeing the headlines. If Trump really lost the debate the other night, why does he keep gaining ground? Why are independents still moving more and more towards Trump? Why is he rising in the polls of young people? Look, there's a great psyop going on, and it hit me last night when I was talking to a bunch of people one-on-one, and over to a person they would say, "How can we be where we are? How could a radical Marxist cackling hyena that nobody likes really be neck and neck with Donald Trump?" It's a psyop. It's a fake. It's all artificial. So much so that there is now legitimate speculation that she was wearing earpieces at the debate. I mentioned this to my buddy Mark Davis earlier today, and he just laughed at that. Oh, come on. That's crazy talk. According to the New York Post, a tech company has added fuel to this conspiracy theory after quipping, love that word, quipping that her debate night jewelry is strikingly similar to the Bluetooth devices it makes. It's a German-based company called Eichbach Sound Solutions. They've weighed in on the viral saga after conspiracy-minded Trump supporters, I guess that would be me and you, claim that the vice president was wearing a pair of their Bluetooth devices. It's called the Nova H1 audio earring. Now, I don't know what it looks like, but I've seen pictures on social media that show a shockingly similar look to what Kamala was wearing the other night and the Nova H1 audio earring. Now, I was thinking about Mark's reaction where he just laughed at it. And I would agree about a year ago. I would have said, come on, she's not wearing earpieces. Truly, I mean this, and I want you to answer this question legitimately. Would it surprise you? Would it surprise you at all? Right now, Mark Penn, a former Clinton strategist, is calling on for a full-blown investigation of ABC and the way they conducted the debate. There's a whistleblower, supposedly, who's claiming that ABC not only gave Kamala the questions in advance, but they laid out for her how they were going to fact-check Trump all night long and not fact-check her. Somebody from the inside is allegedly making that claim. Now, we're at a weird time. Things are rough and wild and woolly. And for Kamala Harris, this is not a cakewalk. You know what she's got? You know what she's contending with right now? Her vice presidential running mate accidentally called her a prostitute in public, and Joe Biden's walking around with a red cap, baseball cap in his hand. I'm not making that up. I don't often push back on social media on my X account, but I retweeted a video of Biden getting on Air Force One with a red baseball cap in his left hand. And I'm looking at this thinking, this is after he put the MAGA hat on the other day. Is Joe Biden sending a message to Kamala Harris and to the campaign and the Democrat Party? I resent what you did to me, and I'm going to stick it to you? Is he on the verge of endorsing Donald Trump full-blown because he's furious at what they did to him? Would that surprise you? I mean, nothing surprises me anymore. Tim Walz calling the boss a prostitute. Christian hit the clip of Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, a little slip of the tongue here.
Because this started, and I love this story, as a young prosecutor. Kamala Harris talked about going in that courtroom for the first time.
Yep, she was a young prostituter that first time she went into that courtroom. That's her VP, running mate. That's her partner. And there's Biden walking around with the red baseball cap. We're in the weirdest cycle I've ever been in decades of doing this for a living. So I just got to turn it over to you. Look, I'll take 3 minutes on this. 800-655-MIKE. We're in the Relief Factor studios. It's Friday, September the 13th. Yep, Friday the 13th. This might be your lucky day if you get through and join me, because I want to know what you think of the theory that she was wearing earpieces. The Nova H1 audio earring. You know what I'm going to do. I'm buying a Nova H1 audio earring. I'll just start wearing that. And then Eric, instead of just giving me commands during the show, he can give me commands all day long. Turn right here to get to the restaurant. No, you're going too fast. Slow down. I'll just wear them. And hey, in 2024, a 64-year-old frumpy guy like me wearing earrings, no big deal. 800-655-6453. I want you to join me and tell me what you make of the theory that she had electronic earpieces in her ears. What do you think about Biden walking around with a red baseball cap? What in the world? Holy crap.
Mike Gallagher.
A lot of text messages on the MyPillow text line. Texas, high chance Kamala had an earpiece, but given there's no honest media anymore, we'll never get answers. I actually don't blame Biden for sticking it to them. You know Biden's got to be angry about how they treated him. It's impossible to think he's just like, oh, well, glad they kicked me aside. He thinks he would be beating Trump. Florida, hey, Mike, I don't doubt the earpiece story for a minute. Finally, Kentucky. Michael in Kentucky. Dana Walden is a top executive at ABC. Her husband knows Doug Emhoff well. They introduced Doug Emhoff to Kamala Harris. That's how the machinations of the debate went down. Incidentally, that's true. That's true. Dear head of ABC News, a dear friend of Kamala Harris and her husband, Doug Emhoff. Everything about this stinks to high heaven. And again, you've got the whistleblower that's apparently it's supposed to be coming out this weekend, claiming that they gave all of the answers to Kamala in advance, and they gave they let her know she would not be fact-checked. Josh is in Columbus, Ohio. Let's see what people think about the earpiece theory. Hey, Josh, thanks for joining us. How you doing today?
Very good, very good.
Good.
Yeah, I think that it sounds ridiculous. I think it's absurd with the earpiece. It just seems she can never get away with it. And honestly, Mike, I think you do a disservice by promoting that kind of stuff. Yes. Do they give her the questions? Perhaps that's very possible. But the earpiece thing, it's absurd.
You know, and look, that's a legitimate, logical, normal kind of human reaction that you're having. Here's the problem. You know what's absurd? Kamala Harris's candidacy. You know what's absurd is a party kicking the legitimate candidate to the curb. She has not one primary vote. She is a radical Marxist. She never denied it. Everybody knows how bad she is, how unlikable she is. You know what's absurd? Neck and neck in the polls, and everybody holding their breath thinking she could win. We're down the rabbit hole, Josh. We're so far gone from normal and logical. You've seen the video, speaking of conspiracies, Biden walking around with a red hat in his hand. You think she likes that?
So I can address that.
Good.
Biden's just being a good dude in a firefighter place. Why not take it?
No, you didn't follow the story. That was the first time. Then hours or days later, he got on a plane, got on Air Force One. This video was from yesterday with a red hat in his hand. The second time.
I didn't see that, but he probably just took the hat the guy gave him.
Frankly, I think it's a different hat. I mean, listen, look, we're in a place right now where, again, you're logical. You're saying that doesn't seem normal. I mean, look, you just admitted that you wouldn't be surprised if they gave her the questions in advance.
Wouldn't be surprised.
You know how bad that is?
That more logical.
But do you know how awful and off the charts wild that would be? That they cheat. Right. They basically said, we're going to cheat. We're going to give you the questions in advance, and that you know how insane that is?
Here's my main point, if I may say.
Wait a minute. Let me finish my point on this, and I want to give you more time. But do you realize that there right now is a progressive or a Kamala voter listening to you and me agreeing that it's very logical and possible that they gave her the questions in advance, and they're saying, oh, that Josh in Columbus, what a conspiracy theorist he is. What a nut. I'm telling you, There's nothing normal going on right now, Josh.
I said it's possible. It isn't probable because she knew the questions, and so did he, more or less. This is my main point.
Sure.
I really think that you do complain a lot about Kamala, which is okay, but the real focus is this is Trump's to lose. And when he gets on the debate stage and he talks some of the nonsense, he wasn't prepared, he hurts himself. And that's really the main point we should be focusing on. Get this guy to change.
Well, he's not. It's never. It's first.
Losing it for himself.
It's never going to happen. He's not going to change. He is never going to change. And Dwayne Patterson wrote a column at A Hot Air that I think you ought to ponder. Everybody's all up in arms about the debate. If he lost the debate, why is he gaining ground in all of these categories post-debate? Why are independents gravitating to him? Why are his numbers increasing post-debate, Josh?
Well, I don't know. I mean, that's a good point, but I don't know. All that counts is those independents or the undecided.
They're the ones. State. You're right. They're the ones. I mean, and look at Nate Silver's polling, and he's not a conservative. But I am intrigued by something you said very clear-headedly and logically. We got to get him to change. We got to get off the expectation that he's going to change. He is not going to. The man's in his late 70s. He got where he is because of who he is. And the frustration you have about his debate performance, that he was maybe not as well scripted as she was, not as well rehearsed as she was. Guess what? That's why people love him, Josh.
But when he starts talking the nonsense, can you imagine if he didn't?
What nonsense?
It would be a blowout.
What nonsense? What nonsense? The dogs? Eating the dogs?
Yeah, that's nonsense.
You want to know why? You want to know why
you want if 3 people ate dogs. It's still nonsense to bring up at a debate.
You want to know why it's not nonsense? Let me tell you why it was brilliant. Millions and millions of Americans, I dare say the vast majority of Americans, had no idea there's a Haitian migrant crisis in Ohio. That's
true.
Well, guess what? Because what he did on the debate stage, now they know.
But why don't they just? He should talk about that. He should talk. He did. About it is a real problem.
He did.
Yeah, but talk about it without the dog.
Well, but that's him. But that's him. But don't you get it? You don't like the way he did it, but what he did was successfully get millions of Americans to be aware that Kamala Harris and Joe Biden's Haitian migrant policy is leading to catastrophic consequences in places like Springfield, Ohio. And they would never. And guess what? He's a showman. I mean, he does. He goes over the top. He's boorish. He's bombastic. But you know something? He did what he set out to do and make America aware of what the Biden-Harris policies with this have done to a town like Springfield. You're just not giving credit where credit's due, Josh.
Okay, I'll give you the credit. But I just think he should do the same thing without the. I know. I hear you.
And I hear you too. Believe me, I'm not. Okay. But we do have to let Trump be Trump, and look. You're right. I agree with you, Josh, and it's good to talk to you. It is his to lose. I'm not going to dispute that. There's just no way a radical Marxist should even be in contention in America. I'm kind of ashamed in a way of my country. I can't believe. I mean, first of all, I'd like to believe she's not really in contention. I'm holding out the cautious, optimistic belief that we're going to wake up November 6th to a pretty sizable Trump victory. But the fact that we are where we are just gives a lot of us anxiety and apprehension. We talked yesterday about this Axios piece. They basically sounded like you. It was almost like you were channeling the article without realizing it. You know, this is his glitch. This is his downfall. He can't help himself. And we all say that. We said it last night on the boat cruise. He is who he is, but he is who he is. And respect the fact that who he is, the authentic. How many of us could stand on a debate stage in front of millions and millions of people, the whole country watching, and have to take on her and the debate moderators? And, you know, the earpiece. Thanks, Josh. More coming up. 800-655-MIKE. Would you believe Tim Walz accidentally calls his running mate a prostitute? Did you hear this one? Again, she's saying, this is my support. Here's Tim Walz. Oh, I can't wait for the Tim Walz J.D. Vance debate. Oh, my gosh. Now, that's another debate that we have to look forward to. Probably not looking forward to another Trump-Kamala debate because Trump is saying, I'm done. But the J.D. Vance, Tim Walz debate, we got to do another debate watch party. Maybe I'll go to South Carolina for that. I think I got to get Joey on the horn, see if we can't do a vice presidential debate watch party in the upstate of South Carolina on this monster 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas home we have here. Check out Tim Walz accidentally referring to Kamala Harris in a less than flattering way.
Because this started, and I love this story, as a young prosecutor. Kamala Harris talked about going in that courtroom for the first time.
I think he meant prosecutor, not prostituter. He called her a prostituter. Now, her relationship many years ago with Willie Brown is not a secret. I mean, it's there. She was, the much younger girlfriend of Willie Brown. And then from there, she got into the district attorney's office, and then she worked her way to the top. 806, look at the polls overwhelmingly. It was absolutely an audio piece. I believe it was an earpiece. Yes, it's true. Look, I don't know that she even needed it because if the reporting is correct, ABC gave her the questions in advance. Mark Penn is a Clinton strategist, former Clinton strategist, obviously. Now he's like a pollster. He's calling on a full-fledged investigation of ABC because a whistleblower is allegedly saying that ABC told Kamala in advance, we're going to fact-check the heck out of Trump. We're not going to fact-check you. And here are the questions that Lindsay Davis and David Muir are going to ask. Look, what I don't want you to do is believe false narratives. Let me give you a false narrative. It's all over for Donald Trump. It's all done. He's way behind. He's going to lose. This is all false. If you don't believe me, let's go to the belly of the beast, CNN, which has remarkable moments of clarity. Their pollster, Harry Enton, has some data that is deeply troubling for the Kamala Harris campaign.
Yeah, I think young voters. It's a group of voters that Kamala Harris is struggling versus what you might expect from a normal Democratic candidate in a normal year. So Democrat versus Trump margin. In September of 2020, look at this. Joe Biden was up by 28 points. He was doing particularly poorly among young voters, those under the age of 30, when he dropped out of the race, up by just 7 points. Look, Kamala Harris is doing somewhat better than that at this point, up by 15 over Donald Trump, but still really lagging where Joe Biden was back in 2020.
That's alarming. If Kamala is struggling with young voters, she's in big trouble. I'm going to play, you're not going to want to miss this clip. Trump gave a little stump speech yesterday that I'm going to play for you over the criticism that he was too angry on the debate stage. And it was so pitch perfect, and it was vintage Trump, and it's why Americans love the guy, and it's why this country is likely going to reelect him. It's 2 minutes of video you're not going to want to miss. That and more coming up a little later this hour. Bad news for Fawny. The Atlanta district attorney having a couple of the charges against Donald Trump thrown out. We'll get the legal eagle himself, Arthur Aidala, New York City famed criminal defense attorney, to explain what that all looks like. I had a chance to visit with Arthur last night on the Salem, New York boat cruise around the island of Manhattan and at the base of the Statue of Liberty. We had a great time, and Arthur and I got to hang out a little bit last night. We'll catch up with Arthur in a half hour. But first, I want to catch up with you here in the Relief Factor studios. 800-655-MIKE, 800-655-6453. Hope you join us.